So what's the best Magic the Gathering deck for beginners? Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and if you're watching this video, you're probably newer to Magic or you watch my channel, and thanks for coming back. But Magic is a complex game, and it's really hard to get new people into it because there are so many moving pieces. Now, I have a few disclaimers before I start this video. One, I don't play Commander. If you play Commander or are looking to get into Commander / EDH or whatever, then talk to your playgroup. Pick cards that you think are cool, buy a pre-con, whatever. That's probably your best option. This channel is focused on competitive Magic and competitive formats, and we create F&M heroes here. And so if you're watching this video, you're probably a newer player wondering what cards to buy, what decks to make, and all of that stuff. And the first question you need to ask yourself is, what format should you be playing? Now, what I mean by formats, and I'm not going to go super deep into this, is that basically there are different formats where different cards are legal. Standard having the most recent cards, then followed by Pioneer, then Modern, then Legacy, then Vintage. Pauper has only common cards, and each of them have their own banned list, or cards that might fall into the categories of things that should be legal, but are banned because they're too powerful or create a powerful archetype. When you select your format, I'm not going to suggest a specific format from this video. You should go to your local game store or where you plan on playing Magic, whether it be tabletop or game store or whatever, and figure out what formats they're running. Now, normally it's Standard, so that is what we're going to focus on. And in my opinion, Standard is the best format for beginners. One, because it has the smallest card pool, and not knowing what cards do and having to read literally every single card literally every time you go to play Magic can be really frustrating, and having to learn what fewer cards do makes it easier to play. Two, often Standard decks are cheaper, and if you're just getting into it, you don't know if you're going to like it, so you should decrease your initial investment as much as possible. And three, because of the really small card pool, often the decks are much simpler than the other formats and are easier to understand on their surface. Now, this isn't always true, but in a general sense. Now, if you're watching this video, you might have looked at pre-constructed decks as well. I'm not a big fan of pre-constructed decks because while they're fine for kitchen table Magic, if you bring them to an F&M, you're just going to get destroyed by the tiered decks. Instead, I would take that money that you would spend on a pre-constructed deck and try to find a cheap, good deck. And there are plenty of cheap decks. I'd like to direct you to a site, MTG Goldfish, where you can see the general tabletop price for good decks. And I would just see what is in your budget and just buy the deck. Now, I would recommend playing a more aggressive deck when you're first learning, because most of the time you can just focus on what you're doing and do what we call solitaring, and you don't necessarily interact with your opponent too much. But I don't want to scare new players away from control, mid-range, or combo decks either. You should play what you think you'll have fun playing, because you'll be better at Magic if you're having fun. So explore these decks, especially ones within your budget. Now, if you want to be winning, I would be prepared to spend between $150 and $400 on a deck. But MTG Goldfish has honestly decent budget decks. Just understand that it won't necessarily be as good as, the tiered decks. Now, if you're looking at a list and don't know what it does, look it up. Find a channel that has a deck tech or a sideboard guide or all that stuff. Soak in as much as that information as possible, because that's what'll make you a better Magic player. I have a lot of that on this channel, so you should check that out. And once you've selected your deck and got your cards and ordered your cards, which you can either buy from your local game store, trade for them from cards that you might already own, or buy them online. One of the best marketplaces is tcgplayer.com. Then you need to play a lot. You can practice playing online Magic like on MTG Arena or Magic Online, or just go to your local tournaments. And understand that there are a lot of degenerates out there like me who are good at Magic, and all we do is play Magic, and we have the best decks, and all of that stuff. And it's important not to get frustrated. Set yourself up for success by bringing a tier 1 or 2 deck, and then play, and then analyze your losses and see if you made any mistakes. Most people are really cool and will chat with you about the decks and play patterns and things like that, and really learn from your mistakes and learn from your community and other people around you, and make friends, because not only can they help you play, not only can they help you with card and deck selection, but some will let you borrow cards and stuff, which will open up a whole new world of possibilities and going to bigger tournaments and being successful. I hope this was helpful for a newer player trying to select a deck. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. This channel is devoted to like low to high mid-level Magic players, where I mostly focus on talking about deck tacks, sideboard guides, flex slots, builds, nuances, play patterns, and deep dives of decks. And if you watch this video all the way through, you probably want that stuff. So please check out the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.